It was summertime, and I was like 16, standing in my kitchen making some food. Now, my bedroom was directly above the kitchen and had a really creaky floor. No one else was home, and all of my animals were outside because it was a nice day out. I heard someone get off my bed, could hear the two footfalls, and start walking across the room to the stairs. I followed the footsteps from upstairs as I walked across the kitchen, and they made it to the top of the stairs. As I made it to the doorway, all I heard was someone coming down the stairs fast. I booked it out of the house and waited outside for a while. I went back inside. No one was there. I never saw a person leave the house. Plus, I was just up in my room. I would have noticed a person in my own room. There's nowhere to hide in that room. There are other stories, but that one I remember so clearly to this day.
Our old house was a 3-bedroom ranch style. It was around 1:30, maybe 2 a.m., and I had my bedroom light on. I went to the kitchen for a snack. As I was walking through the living room, I noticed the wooden rocking chair slightly rocking. I just ignored it, carried on, got my snack. I went to go back into my room, and as I turned the kitchen light off, my room's light still filled the hall and spilled into the living room. I happened to look at the TV's reflection, and there was the shadow of a man sitting in that rocking chair. When I looked at the chair, it was slightly moving again, but obviously no one was there, or were they? I went back to my room and shut the door. Needless to say, I didn't leave my room again that night.
My cousin and I were 9 and were having a sleepover at my house. I was upstairs sleeping in my room, and she slept on the living room couch. Things went normal in my book. We played games, ate snacks, stayed up way late, and went to bed to wake up to pancakes. She goes home the next day, and that's the end of the sleepover. A couple of weeks go by, and I wanted her to come stay again. She wouldn't say yes to my request, which was confusing for me. My mom spoke with her mom, and it was decided I would have to go over there for any sleepovers as she was scared to sleep at my house. I never found out why, so off I went to her house. Fast forward to where I'm like 14 and my cousin gets brought up. It turns out the reason she would not come over again is because while she was sleeping, I was being really creepy towards her and would just stare at her from the dining room in my white nightgown. Apparently, I would leave the room and re enter multiple times to just stand and stare at my cousin. Here's the twist: I don't own a white nightgown. I was wearing horse themed PJs, like pants and a shirt, that night. When she saw me in the morning, she panicked because I wasn't wearing the same outfit. And when she went home, she told my aunt she didn't want to go back. So, this is the start of the little girl that haunted my childhood home. At least from my knowledge, it is.
I was working on an essay late one night when I saw my little brother. I told him to go to sleep multiple times, and each time he just gleefully ran off. This time when I followed him, I saw he was fast asleep, and he wasn't wearing the clothes that I had just seen him in. I don't know what I saw, but it definitely wasn't my little brother. One night, my girlfriend and I were taking a dark road from her house to mine. It's a road we've driven many times. We are in a rural area, so there aren't many street lights. As I rounded the corner, I saw a person in a gray shirt and dark pants step into the road. So I hit the brakes hard to stop. But then the person turned into a mist and went up and to the right and vanished. I thought I was seeing things, but then my girlfriend said, "What was that?" And all I could say was, "What was what?" She quickly responded, "Someone in dark clothes just stepped into the road and disappeared." Wow. Up ahead, there's a memorial for a person killed in a car wreck a few years back. And across the river next to the road on a residential street, there had been a hit and run. Not saying it was either of them. Damn, it was creepy. And the fact that we both saw the same thing, it just makes it even weirder. One night while I was playing video games, the stove hood fan kept turning on. No matter how many times I turned it off, it would keep coming back on. So I told my grandma, and we agreed not to go in the kitchen until the morning. The next morning, my grandma got a call saying her brother had passed the night before. The fan's never turned on by itself since. My son had an invisible friend when he was between the ages of 2 and 4. My boy described him as an elderly man, said his name was Don, who was waiting for his mother to come and pick him up from the house. My little man would throw toys down the hall for Don to play with and then just run away. It got stranger. My son would start to scream in the middle of the night, saying Don keeps tickling my toes. This went on for about 3 years until the house we were renting finally sold. We moved out and never heard about Don again. Up until about 2 years ago, when I stumbled on an old local news article about the man that owned our old house and how he had died and he would be sorely missed by the community. Turns out his name was Don, and his mother had raised him in that same house as my little boy. Wow, Don. I hope your mom finally came and picked you up.